if they're hearing us both, maybe they want to join the QSO, so that's always a good thing. So WB9DZS from KD2BRM, and if there's anyone else, feel free to join in.
I didn't hear anybody. Did you, Ernie?
No, go ahead, Tom. Yeah, grab it. Yeah, that was enough time. They can grab the next go around. Back to you, Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah, roger that. I try to put my actually put my recording on. So I guess we can post some of this. And so I was messing around with that. I use a software called Bandicam. It's actually free. The free version just has a couple fairly minor limitations. One, it puts a banner, small banner at the top of the recording saying, bandicam.com, telling you what it is. And it limits you to 30 minutes of recording. Or is it 30 minutes? Yeah, I think it's 30 minutes or 10 minutes. I don't know. It's a fairly long period it gives you. I loved it so much, I wanted to give the guy the money. So I actually registered it. I think it was about $40. I switched computers. It's registered by computer. And I changed computers recently. I was having some trouble with my Power SDR locking up, and I used an older, or not a less powerful computer, let's say, and it seems to work better. Although it has probably, if you run a bunch of things at the same time, it has barely enough power. The old computer was a quad-core i7 cyber power gaming computer. So, it's nice to see a carrier. When you look down and the carrier is 90 watts versus 370 watts, that's quite a bit of difference. So anyhow, we'll post, are you in both AM groups or one or the other? I'm in both the classic and the other just amplitude modulation group. So I want to make sure I post it in the right spot, so you can see how well you're sounding. I think you were about between S8 and S9, a very low noise floor today. Yeah, wife's up here. She's seeing my bouncing my leg up and down with my ADHD. So anyhow, back to you, Ernie. Sure nice to run across you. It's with the guys on Facebook, it's like you can't remember who you've worked. You may have talked to people more on Facebook than actually having a QSO. KD2BRM, WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra, Chesterfield, Virginia.
Okay, Tom, left a little space there in case anyone wanted to get in there, but yeah, WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra from KD2 Bravo Romeo Mike. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm part of both of the groups. The one that Philip runs, I think is that the AM Classic? I know there's two. There's two that almost sound identical. I'm in both of them. But I kind of moderate the one that Philip is in, which, by the way, I ended up going down to his place. I'm on Long Island, so I ended up going down to his shack there for the field day shindig that he had going there. It was a great turnout, nice group of people there, lots of coworkers and people that weren't into radio, and just an all-around great gathering there. So, but yeah, I am in both. I do moderate the one that Philip's in. there, and we have our goofy senses of humor. But yeah, no, all good stuff. Yeah, the band's quiet. It was kind of in cruddy condition earlier. I guess, I don't know if there was a solar flare. There was something going on earlier. But even right now, the solar flex is very high. There's a lot of stuff going on in the ionosphere right now. And, you know, it's not the greatest, I guess, conditions for these lower bands. But, you know, whatever. They're working. That's why you can't like click on a website and be like, oh, it says unsettled, it says 40 meters is poor, let me just turn my stuff off and go to sleep. You know, it's like, you get on here, you make a CQ, next thing you know, you spend an hour chit-chatting with somebody, and you have the greatest conversation, you know, in a long time. So, yeah, no, all good stuff. Yeah, no, your signal's good there now. Everything's hanging in there, nice solid. You actually have a very solid signal. Sometimes you're on 40, you get those deep fades, but I don't know what you're using there. I don't remember if you said what you were using, but you have a rock solid, steady signal there. You've been holding around S9. Nothing ridiculously strapping, but nothing bad. You know, you just been like rock solid, like we're talking on 2 meters ground wave. So great setup there. Yeah, and I've seen you post some of the, you know, some of the clips there. Yeah, I don't, you know, you guys are way ahead of me on that stuff, man. I don't use the SDRs. If I can't hear you at the station, I don't talk. But a lot of you guys like to mess around with different SDR stations and pull the stations in. And I kind of like, man, if I can't hear you at my station where I'm calling, I don't really fart around with the computer stuff. But lots of you guys do that, and that's great stuff, and you make the recordings, and it's always great because we go back and we, you know, I listen to recordings that people have made years ago, and it's always cool to reminisce. So good stuff there, Tom. I'm going to send it back to you, WB9DZS from KD2BRM.
Yeah, real good, Ernie. KD2BRM, WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra. I want to clarify, all of my recordings, all of them, I can't say all of them, 99% of them, are done from my home station using my Flex 5000A. This is just a recording of the screen capture of my power SDR software that drives my Flex 5000. So it's, you know, it would be like taking a iPhone picture of my ICOM or something, except I can do it directly because the radio is controlled by the computer. So what you're getting with those recordings are actually, you know, the exact image with a little bit of compression of what I'm seeing and hearing with my equipment, which is an old early generation Flex 5000A, and using the KE9NS power SDR. He keeps it constantly up to date. It's another person I contribute to. He's done a really good job. It's probably the best SDR software out there. Much better than Flex's new version of Smart SDR. That's what kept me from upgrading to a new generation Flex hardware. The guys that do the recordings with the SDR software from the Anon are doing the same thing as I am. Now, where you get the guys on the SDRs, you know, they're using similar software. It looks a lot like the Anon software, although I think from a source, the power SDR is probably closer to the Anon software, but Anon has a little much different look and feel. But yeah, I could bring up a web SDR and record off of there. But I always found, you know, there's some rare propagation that my antennas work better than what I can get off an SDR. So I use those. I listen to SDRs a lot at night when I'm in bed, or I'm in bed a lot of the time due to my health. Philip was kind enough to invite me to that field day, but he he did it as a gesture. He knows I can't walk or travel anymore. But I remember him posting the pictures and stuff. That sounded like a lot of fun down there. So anyhow, I wanted to clarify that. What you're seeing on those clips are actually my radio interface, the software that interfaces to the Flex. KD2BRM from WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra.
Okay, WB9DZS KD2BRM. Yeah, very good. Well, listen, I mean, I don't know. I might be behind you as far as technology. I am using an Anon, but it's a Anon 100, not the D model. It's an earlier version. And the Power SDR software I'm using is dated October 3rd, 2015. So I almost pride myself in using the boat anchor of SDR stuff because it's an old version. Everyone's always updating and getting the fanciest, you know, SDR stuff and the fanciest software and all the skins and the availability. And man, my buddy Eric, WB2CAU, he got me the itch on AM, and he's basically the reason I'm on AM. And I purchased the Anon, and he helped me build the computer here, and this thing's been on since about the end of October. I guess it was the newest software back then that was out. So this station is 8 years old, which is probably boat anchorish in today's technology, right? Because everyone's always updating and doing firmware and all this kind of crap. And I'm a firm believer, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's worked fine for me. I could probably sound better. I could probably tweak things here or there. But for the limited time that I get on AM and I play radio, it works perfect. I'm familiar with everything. I don't have to relearn anything, so I just kind of go with the flow, and I don't, But I love that you and like Perry and a lot of the other guys make the screen recordings and all that stuff, and I love to watch that and listen to it. So I probably should pay it forward at some point and get my butt out of lazy mode and do that. But yeah, for my limited time frame of my work schedule, my wife, the kids, the house, the family, all the chores that go on, I have only a certain amount of time, so I try to spread the wealth, so to speak. Yeah, but you're holding in there, Tom. Sounding great. Surprised no one else is in there. Usually when people are chit-chatting, there's other folks end up coming in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're enjoying our QSO, maybe not. Maybe we bored them and they left. I don't know. Anyway, all good stuff. WB9DZS from KD2BRM.
KD2BRM, WB9DZS. Well, boy, that Anon sounds great. And where you had WB2CAU getting you in AM, I had the same exact thing. Rick, K2RIK, got me into AM about 5 years ago or so. I mean, I operated, my first contact was a AM. I had converted a ARC 5 to 160 meters and worked a local station or two. It caused a lot of, I think I wiped out channel 2 on my TV, so that didn't last long. Made a couple AM contacts in college, and over the years, once I think the first radio real rig I bought, the Heathkit HW100 kit in 1970. A friend of mine showed me how to convert it to AM, and I did. I don't remember what we did with the switch, it was very easy to do. It only took them about 15 minutes. So I had actually AM and made some AM contacts on the HW100. But a lot of the rigs I had after that, an ICOM 701, and that didn't run AM. There before that, I had an SP 104 as well that didn't run AM. Then I got in the 80s, when I moved out here to Virginia, I got a Yaesu FT980, and that did run AM. And I did make a few contacts, but not like now. When Rick got me on AM, I was using my ICOM IC9100 that I still have, and that doesn't have too great of an AM sound to it. I do notice it's much harder on my amp now. The temperature rises much, where when I had a carrier lower, it wasn't as bad. I'll have to try to I'll do that. I'll reset the profile back to like I used to have it and see if you notice any difference in the audio. I have a profile set for the lower carrier level. I could switch next transmission. KD2BRM, WB9DZS Zulu Sierra.
Okay, Tom, we did have another station break in there with you, so I copied what you said. I'm going to pass it back to the other station, assuming they still have conditions. You have W9 Delta Zulu Sierra, along with myself, Kilo Delta 2, Bravo Romeo Mike. So breaking station, take it away.
I can't make out what he's actually saying here.
Okay, Bob, got you there. WA1CLK from KD2BRM. Yes, you're a solid 5.9 here as well. Rock solid signal. Yeah, Tom is the other gentleman I'm speaking to. He's down in Virginia, and he's about 320 miles from me. So, yeah, I guess with all the crazy solar conditions, you guys are just way too far apart there, being near Mount Washington. Tom, if you're listening, the other station I'm speaking to is up near Mount Washington in New Hampshire there. So you guys probably have about 700 or 800 miles between the two of you. So I'm kind of dead center. I'm getting a little bit of the best of both worlds. But very good, Bob. You know, I have not heard Mike. The call doesn't sound familiar. You know, I'm not a regular on any band at any time, so the call does not sound familiar. It's not somebody I've spoke to regularly, and I haven't heard him yet, and I am probably too close to him. Or maybe not. Not really sure what his location is. I did not run it on QRZ. But certainly keep an ear out there, Bob. Yeah, you're more than welcome to join in. Maybe band conditions will change, and you and Tom will be able to hear one another. But yeah, sounding really good. I'm going to pass back to Tom, so just stand by, Bob, for the next go around, and I'm going to pass back down to Virginia. So back to you, Tom. WB9DZS from KD2BRM.
Yeah, KD2BRM. WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra. And yeah, okay, we're on the other profile. It's showing 72 watts carrier. Same amount of peak output. And I just wonder if the audio sounds the same, better, or worse. I'll tell you one thing, it's much easier on the amp. It doesn't, the power or the temperature doesn't go up as fast. Although the other amplifier, look, you know, you make a 5-minute transmission without any trouble. And it's a good timing for CLK to come in, as Philip knows. I'm on a very short fuse of being able to talk. I have a tumor pushing against my vocal cord, and I get out of breath, and my voice gets very strained. And I'm starting to push that limit now. But if you could give me a comparison audio report, that would be great, and I can let you carry on with CLK, who I do hear. You'll see on the recording. I'll post it in a few minutes. I don't hear him very well. I think he was running somewhere about an S3 or 4. Even though I have a low noise floor, you could tell that would be difficult here. Yeah, usually this time of day, you know, New Hampshire wouldn't be any trouble. But I got on a net at 8 a.m. this morning that I get on quite frequently, and there's people from Ohio to New Jersey, New York, and that area quite a bit. And they're always, you know, S9 plus. But this morning, you know, people were S3, S4, S5. The strongest station today was an S7. Where usually no one is under S9. So, yeah, the band with the solar activity has really been strained here the last day or two. So I'll turn it back to you there, Ernie, and maybe give me a little bit of difference and see if it makes any difference, if you could discern which profile, the ones I've been previously using, or this last transmission. KD2BRM, WB9 Delta Zulu Sugar will be listening for a while. Go ahead.
Okay, Tom. WB9DZS with WA1CLK. Stand by, Bob. I'm just gonna sign here with Tom. I know you guys are at the extreme ends of the band, so if you're still in there, Bob, just hang out. I'll be here for a bit. Just want to tie the ribbons with Tom. Yeah, Tom, you know, I don't know if the band conditions have improved, but I'm getting your signal's about the same, but there's a lot more density in the audio, and it sounds excellent. So, you know, I hate giving these audio reports when you're dealing with signal fade and all kinds of other stuff going on. Because, you know, sometimes it's false, and, you know, I always love doing tests with people on ground wave, you know, where there's no influence. But right now, I'm going to say you have, like, the best density and fidelity and everything going on. And your signal, you know, it's got the same fade as before. But it just seems to be now that whatever I'm hearing, it just has a little more oomph, as they say up here in in New York. So whatever profile you have now sounds great. You know, I'd like to try to, you know, maybe check it out again later down the road. Yeah, Philip had mentioned you had some issues there, so I totally get that. Yeah, I'd love to meet up with you again. And, you know, when we have good conditions and you try to go through the profiles, you know, because when you're dealing with all the skywave stuff, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that impede on it. You know, sometimes it's nothing you're doing there that gets taken out of context on the other end, so on. But it sounds great, Tom. So if you want to get back to me, go ahead. I'll look forward to the clip when you upload it. But great running into you on AM finally. Like I said, we've commented back and forth here and there, and Yeah, station sounds great. So I'll pass back to you in case you wanted to add any final. So just stand by there 1 sec, Bob. I'll send it up to you in a smidge. But back to Tom, WB9DZS from KD2BRM. If you want to say anything else, go ahead, Tom.
I'll make it quick, Bob, but you know, that doesn't surprise me. You'll see on the power SDR screen basically the movement, and if I put an oscilloscope on, which I'll do right now, I get pretty clean pattern, and it just seems like there's as I said, it doesn't surprise me. When I got the carrier level up, I just didn't, I didn't get any better signal reports than I got before. I didn't make just a couple contacts. So I think I'm going to leave it this way, the way I've had it for the last several years, because it's a way less hard on the amp. And I'm still getting those voice modulation peaks. So, the total PEP output with audio is reading the same. In fact, maybe slightly higher peaks, within 100 watts or so. So I'm going to leave it this way. And that's why I wanted to get the report. I just knew you were going to say what you said. Now, I did change the EQ a little bit on the other profile, where I had the lows a little bit, the very lows, a little down further than what I had it on this profile, but I don't think that's what made a difference. So I'm going to leave it the way it was, and I've gotten so many fantastic audio reports over the last several years. It was like, well, what can I do to make it better? The carrier has to be higher, or is there, was my audio not that great, and people were telling me it was good? Anyhow, now I'll know. Take care, and give Bob my best. You can let him know I'm hearing him a little bit, just not very strong. And we'll go ahead and post that in a few moments. KD2BRM, WB9DZS, Chesterfield, Virginia, clear. You can tell I could hardly talk anymore. 73.
Okay, 73, Tom. Yeah, great running into you. Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I'm always splitting hairs here too, messing with the carrier level. I'm not familiar with the Flex software or whatever, but probably runs the same with the Anon. I dropped the carrier level a little bit lower in the software, which gives a little bit more headroom. But some guys like to run a heavy carrier with less modulation, because they like to silence the background and then have a little less modulation. And then some guys like to have a little bit of less carrier but louder audio. So it's, you know the deal. You've been around the block more times than me. It's all user preference. No way's incorrect. No way's right. It's whatever you think you want to do. So it is what, if you want to run 500 watts with 62% modulation, then knock your socks off. If you want to run 200 watts with 170% modulation, knock your socks off, as long as there's no negative peaks in that same, zone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to each his own. Everybody sounds good. Hardly ever do you really run into anyone that has bad audio on AM. And if you do, they're brand new and they don't really understand what they're doing, and then we all kind of help them and they get better. So it's all good stuff. So have a great day, Tom. Great running into you. I'm going to send it up to Bob if he's still in there. And, yeah, I look forward to the clip later. And we'll comment or whatever. If you want to send me a friend request, that's cool too. If not, I will not be insulted. All good stuff. So, 73 Tom, WB9DZS from KD2BRM. I'm going to send it back to Bob if he's still in there. WA1CLK from KD2BRM. You still in there, Bob?
I'm sorry, I did not pick up.
Sure, no problem, Bob. Name is Ernie, Echo, Romeo, November, India, Echo. And Tom was hearing you. Tom was hearing you down in, I could pull him up. I think he said Chesterfield, Virginia. I could probably pull it up quick on the app here. But Tom was here, and you're just not great. Yeah, Chesterfield, Virginia. So you guys are quite a distance away. You could probably QRZ him and get the exact. He was WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra. But he did hear you. He did ask me to pass the 5 to you and say hello. So yeah, all good. I have not heard your buddy. I don't know if your buddy's in there or where he's from. But name here is Ernie, Long Island. So back to you, Bob. Okay, there was a WB2 station in there. If you can stand by 1 second, I'll just respond to Bob. Maybe you're hearing both of us, and then you can pick it up there. Yeah, Bob, very good. Copied the 30 watts or so you said you're running into the dipole, about 30 feet. Yeah, I'm putting out a little bit more power, about 150 watts into a 110-foot doublet that I have tuned up with the Johnson Matchbox out in the backyard. So putting out a little bit more juice than you, but you're a rock-solid S9, and both you and Tom are about equal distance from me, you know, in a straight line, basically. You know, you're a little probably northeast of me, about 250 miles, and he's a little southwest of me, about 250 miles. So I'm kind of the sweet spot in the middle. So I kind of got both of your signals raining in on me. But sounding really good for 30 watt station, for sure, with the antenna setup. And yeah, like I said, nothing fancy here. We're running the SDR with the amplifier, but you know, we're not one of the tall ships on 40 meters by far. So stand by for a sec, Bob. There was a WB2 station in there, and I'm assuming he even hears me. I don't know. Sometimes WB2s can be close to me. But WB2, you got Kilo Delta 2 Bravo Romeo Mike, along with Whiskey Alpha 1 Charlie Lima Kilo up near Mount Washington. So WB2, take it away if you can hear me.
KD2BRM.